Don't believe all the claims you read on product labels. Just because a product claims to be something or the other does not mean if it's true or fully true or not misleading. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to read product labels. I'm going to teach you how to go through it easy, quick, and just really practical way to help you navigate your shopping experience. There's a lot that's in the market, and sometimes we find ourselves like just lost and confused about what to purchase because we're not really sure if this product claim means that it's healthy or it's unhealthy or what you're actually buying. On the screen, you're going to see the chapters of the video, and on my channel, you will find healthy plant-based recipes, health tips, cooking tips, self-development content, and so much more. So let's get started. The first thing I want to teach you about reading product labels is the first thing that you do when you get a product, don't look at the front. Turn it right around and read the ingredient list, okay? That's the first thing you need to do. Do not fall into the trap of just relying purely on what the product claims are in the front of the packaging. That right there is going to help you figure out what this product is all about. A few things to know about that. You want to look at the ingredient list. The ingredient list usually is in the order of the quantity, how much of that ingredient is used in that product. So for example, let's say it's something that is like a protein bar, okay? If for example, the first ingredient in there is like cashews, then you'll know the most ingredient used in this product is cashew. And then the next product, let's say that the next ingredient says dates, then proportionately, the next thing used in terms of quantity is dates. Now, they don't necessarily specify how much percentage is used of each one. I've seen a few percentages used in some products and for some ingredients. And I think those ingredients that contain more than one thing, like for example, if it says chocolate, they might have in between brackets an explanation how much chocolate, what ingredients of the chocolate are in there, like coconut oil, cacao powder, blah, blah, blah. But generally speaking, they just list out the ingredients. The first ingredient is the most dominant ingredient in that product, and then less and less and less and less and less. So what you'd actually find is that recently I looked at, for example, oat cookies, okay? I literally flipped the product right around and I started reading the ingredient list. And by the way, just so you know, this is something that you're gonna start to notice in a lot of the stuff that you will buy. Sugar is actually the first ingredient listed in that product, which means that that product is actually sugar is the main ingredient. And then maybe another 3 or 4 ingredients that were listed. Then you've got your oats. So really, is it an oat biscuit or is it a sugar biscuit? The second thing is that you will be surprised. Like you might be buying, I don't know, like for example, you might be buying peanut butter and you're realizing the peanut butter, there's like 15 ingredients listed in the peanut butter. And you actually should be asking yourself why. Peanut butter should literally be blended peanuts. You might have a sprinkle of salt, some add a dash of sweetener, maybe. But fundamentally, you will start to identify when you're in the supermarket, if you've got 5 options of peanut butter, literally, if you just turn them around and look at the ingredient list, you'll be able to quickly identify which one is just peanut butter, like peanuts, and which one is like peanuts and like 10 other different ingredients, really. And you will know that what quality of ingredients you're buying. And by the way, shockingly, sometimes, I swear to God, like this has happened to me even with peanut butter, the one that actually has clean ingredients was priced the same as the one that had a lot of other stuff or even cheaper. Now, sometimes, obviously, a lot of these brands will start adding all these other ingredients in so they can save costs or try to give it a longer shelf life or like make it more palatable or addictive in a sense with all these preservatives. But in some cases, you'll actually be surprised that there are just some brands that are really ethical and try their best to put forward quality ingredients, even though some of them may not be perfect, and that's also okay, it's not an issue. But for you to be able to understand what you're actually buying, that is one of my number one tip when it comes to reading product labels. So some examples of products that you'll be buying that you are probably going to be shocked to find out that there's a lot of sugar, oil, and preservatives like in the first ingredient or a few ingredients, an ingredient used in a big amount in that product. Things like cereal, for the kids and even for adults, like it's a bit disheartening because it's something that I'm sure can be approached in a different way, but cereal is one of those like hidden products. Bread is one of those products. And like, for example, biscuits, like things that might give you that impression of like, oh, 50% low fat, 50% fat free, or like 50% less fat or something. But like the first couple of ingredients are sugar and butter and I don't know, whatever else that there is that's in there. So ideally, when you're looking at the ingredient list, you want real ingredients, you want whole ingredients, you want brown rice, you want quinoa, you want dates for sweetener, you want nuts, you want things that are like that, instead of, I don't know, like ingredients that are, you can't even read, artificial preservatives. Not that I'm saying every product should be perfect, but ideally, if the ingredient list is fully whole foods, real ingredients, like actual food, then obviously that's better, and that they're clean ingredients. Most of the time, if they're ingredients you've never even ever heard of, that's probably because it's not good for you. It's not real, it's not a real ingredient. Now you can always use Google or ChatGPT to try to know do a quick search to find out what that ingredient is. In the beginning of the process, when you're doing this, you're gonna you might look up some ingredients just to get a sense of what that is. And that's gonna quickly give you an idea of like how much flexibility you're able to give those extra ingredients. And probably more likely than not, you're gonna start quickly realizing that these are not real, ingredient names. If you're not familiar with them, you haven't seen them before, you'll probably end up identifying them as not ideal. My next tip is be aware of product claims. Like a lot of times you'll read something like 50% less fat, sugar-free, all these big claims, but actually what could be the case, people might read fat-free and think, oh, it's a healthy product. While it might be fat-free, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a healthy product. It might be super high in sugar, food coloring, preservatives, and other ingredients. Take all the product claims with a pinch of salt. Again, if it's a brand, that reputable brand, a reliable brand, a brand that you've like vetted their ingredients before, there will be a lot more trust when you're looking at some of the product claims. But generally speaking, take it at face value. Don't like just believe that that's the full picture. Like take it in context of what you're looking for and what you deem important for you in that product. For example, if a product says like these claims like sugar-free, okay, so then fine, it's sugar-free, but then what have they sweetened the product with? You want to make sure that you're okay with what is being used as an alternative if that product requires an alternative. So if they're using sweeteners, like, is that a healthy sweetener or is that not a healthy sweetener? Now, in your case, you might be on a specific weight loss journey, and for you it's more about the calories and stuff like that. So you might think that right now in this specific moment you're looking for sugar-free, even if the alternative is a unhealthy sweetener that's 0 calories. That might be fine, and that's completely fine. And if that serves your objective and what you are looking for and what you're okay with, then that's perfectly fine. I think the most important thing to hear from me is not to be misled by these misleading kind of claims that make you feel that because it's fat-free, sugar-free, that means it's actually a healthy product in itself. Another thing is looking at the serving size. Sometimes a lot of the packaging, they'll show like the serving size per serving and for 100 grams. If it's something that I'm curious about, I'll look at the serving, like if it's the serving size is that whole energy bar, then I'll get a sense of what, how much protein, how many calories or whatever that product contains in itself. Then that's a good way to easy to identify. But sometimes you might get products that are like have multiple things inside, and it might say like per serving size, I don't know, it gives you like 56 grams, and you're like, how much is 56 grams? So how would I know what that is? In a lot of product packaging, there's 100 grams like as a standard, and then the serving size. So the 100 grams kind of, I think, to give it like some sort of consistency benchmark across different products, just to get a sense of like in 100 grams how much of these calories, protein, carbs, etc. that product contains. And then it also has a serving size. So like that serving size, let's say it's 56 grams, you'll be able to understand by the gram of the full package of that product how much you're looking at. But also I think what's good here is to be a bit aware of that number, because sometimes brands will give you a reasonable serving size, but maybe what you consider a serving size is much more than what they're suggesting the serving size is. So maybe the serving size that they're giving is of like this much, like 2 pieces of cookies, but like maybe if you would ever eat these cookies, let's say as a snack, you'd probably want to eat 5 pieces. So then you would have to consider the serving size for the quantity that you would actually you think is a serving size for you. That's just something to keep in mind. I don't usually look at this much, but sometimes it's relevant for some products like biscuits. I've looked at it, for example, when I bought a package which has like a bag of like cookies. I would look at it then because I want to know, I compare it to my average snacks and how much I would want, like, you know, in terms of calories or protein or something that I'm like maybe of interests to me in that phase and, you know, in that time of my life. That's not something I look at immensely, but that's definitely something just to keep in mind so you're not misled. Another really important one is to keep an eye out for different names for sugar. There's 50 different names for sugar. So while they may not name it sugar, it's actually sugar because it has 50 different names. So anything from like corn syrup or something like orange juice, or I've like read like different kind of fruits, juice of different fruits. Like at the end of the day, that is also sugar. Up on the screen is a list of those different 50 names for sugar. Another one is salt and fat content. A high amount of these ingredients are not necessarily health promoting. So just keep an eye out as well in terms of the ratio of these ingredients. But also remember that there are healthy fats. So some ingredients might be using nuts and seeds and things that are really good for our health, for our hormone balance. You ultimately want to avoid the trans fats, really. So the quality of the ingredients makes a difference. You know, just because it's fat doesn't mean that it's healthy or not healthy. So just with a combination of a scan between the product label and also the ingredient list, you'll be able to know where that source is coming from. So ultimately, you want to avoid the trans fats and limit the saturated fats and opt for healthy fats coming from whole ingredients like nuts, seeds, avocado, and so on. So here's a tip for you. If you find this overwhelming and you're like, okay, but where do I start? And I don't know any of the ingredients, I'm not familiar with a lot of the ingredients. Just a simple rule is maybe pick out products that you're purchasing. Maybe look for products that are like 5 ingredients or less, for example, because the more the ingredient list is, usually is the more processed that product is. And maybe that will be like a good starting point for you if you want to just simplify the process and not overthink going through all the different kind of products and the ingredients. And most importantly, this video is about mindful purchases. This is not about perfection. This is not about never buying any products that have, you know, some processed ingredients in them. This is not the point. The point of this video and this awesome skill that you're gonna gain and equip yourself with is really all about being aware and conscious of what you're buying and what you're feeding your body, like not falling for, lies or false or misleading kind of claims and labels. This is not about perfection. This doesn't mean that I don't buy products that are processed, but when I do buy them, I am mindfully buying them. I'm buying them consciously and with my will and with my knowledge and awareness and willingness, rather than thinking and compromising or sacrificing on certain products. Like you don't buy this junk food or processed treat that you really like because you think that you're making more health conscious choices by buying an alternative that is actually equally bad or worse, but because you couldn't differentiate the difference and you fell for the product claims. And also sometimes it's just a matter of finding healthier alternatives. Like you might just be looking for, I don't know, like any product, like a cereal or a snack, and you've got a bunch of new ingredients in front of you. So you're like looking through some ingredients and you're just paused and you don't know which one to pick, or you're unsure. You've got 2, for example, packs of, I don't know, like crackers, and you're like, which one should I get? And you want to make healthier decisions. Quickly flip them over and just have a quick scan just to get a sense of what you're looking at here, and that will totally help you make easier, quicker, wiser choices. And remember, just because a product contains bad ingredients or like, not health promoting ingredients like some sort of preservative or something or the other, doesn't mean that it doesn't have a place in a healthy diet. A healthy diet does not mean perfection. It does not mean 100% eating whole food. Really, that's kind of the goal here. And I really hope that you find this video helpful. Please comment below if you have any additional questions about reading product labels, and I'll try my best to respond to you in the best way I can. If you enjoyed this video, then the only thing I ask is for you to subscribe to my channel. This helps me make sure to continue to do what I'm doing and also to bring you the best content that I can. And on my channel, you'll find a lot of health and wellness kind of content. So healthy plant-based recipes, quick and easy for busy people, content and tips on healthy lifestyle and holistic living, self-development content, so much more. So hope to see you in the next video. Bye.